53 years. That is how long New York City waited. Through bad trades, bad coaches, bad luck, and heartbreak that would have broken any other fan base. But in 2026, the New York Knicks did not just end the drought. They went on the most dominant playoff run in franchise history, and Madison Square Garden completely lost its mind. The last time the Knicks won a championship, it was 1973. Richard Nixon was president. The World Trade Center had just opened. The internet did not exist. For over 5 decades, Knicks fans watched their team cycle through hope and disaster. The Ewing era came close but never got over the hump. The Isiah Thomas years were a franchise low. The Carmelo Anthony trade was supposed to save everything and save nothing. And through it all, Knicks fans kept showing up, kept filling MSG, kept believing that one day it would be their turn. It started with Jalen Brunson. When the Knicks signed him from Dallas in 2022, people laughed. They called it an overpay. They said he was a second option pretending to be a first. But Brunson did not care about the noise. He just kept getting better. By 2026, he was averaging 26 points per game in the playoffs with an efficiency that rivaled the best point guards in the league. He was not flashy. He did not need the spotlight. He just showed up, made every right read, and willed his team to wins when it mattered most. And then there was Josh Hart, the human hustle play. The guy who dove for every loose ball, grabbed every rebound a 6'4" guard has no business grabbing, and brought an energy that was absolutely contagious. Hart did not care about his stats. He cared about winning. And that mentality spread through the entire roster like wildfire. When Josh Hart was on the floor, the Knicks played harder. The crowd got louder. And opponents knew they were in for a dogfight. The first round against the 76ers was supposed to be competitive. Philly had talent, they had size, they had playoff experience, but the Knicks came out and treated them like a scrimmage. 4 games, 4 wins, a clean sweep. New York's defense smothered Philadelphia's offense. Brunson carved them apart in every pick and roll. And by Game 4, the Sixers looked like they just wanted to go home. The Knicks had a statement to make, and they made it in the most emphatic way possible. The Eastern Conference Finals against Cleveland was where this run became historic. Game 1 went to overtime. The Cavaliers pushed the Knicks to the brink. But New York pulled it out 115-104 in overtime, and that game set the tone for everything that followed. Because after surviving that scare, the Knicks became absolutely ruthless. Game 2 was 109-93, a 16-point blowout. Game 3 was 121-108. The Knicks were scoring at will. And Game 4 was a massacre, 130-93, a 37-point demolition on national television. With the ECF sweep, the Knicks had won 12 straight playoff games. 12. That is not just dominant, that is historically unprecedented territory. And their offensive rating during the run was the best in NBA playoff history. They were not just winning, they were rewriting the record books while doing it. Every possession was efficient. Every defensive rotation was perfect. This was not just a hot streak. This was a machine operating at peak performance. And through it all, Madison Square Garden was absolutely electric. Spike Lee courtside losing his mind on every play. The crowd chanting defense so loud you could feel the floor vibrating. Celebrities packed into every row. And regular New Yorkers who had waited their entire lives for this moment, screaming until their voices gave out. MSG has hosted some of the greatest sporting events in history. But longtime arena staff said they had never felt energy like the 2026 playoffs. This was not just basketball. This was a city releasing 53 years of frustration. Behind the scenes, Coach Mike Brown deserves enormous credit. Brown built a defensive system that suffocated opponents while letting the offense flow. He managed egos, managed minutes, and kept this team locked in through every round. His adjustments between games were surgical. When Cleveland tried to slow the pace in the ECF, Brown pushed the tempo even harder. When teams doubled Brunson, Brown had counters ready before the defense even set. This was a masterclass in coaching. For the first time since 1999, the New York Knicks are in the NBA Finals. Let that sink in. An entire generation of Knicks fans grew up never seeing their team on this stage. Kids who were born after the last Finals appearance are now 27 years old. And finally, after all the pain, all the losing, all the false hope, New York has a team worthy of the city it represents. The Knicks are not just in the finals. They stormed into the finals like they own the building. Whatever happens in the finals, this playoff run has already cemented itself in Knicks history. 12 straight wins, 2 sweeps, the best offense in playoff history, and a city united behind a team that finally gave them something to believe in. 53 years is a long time to wait, but if this is how it ends, New York might just say it was worth every single painful year. Can the Knicks finish the job and bring a championship back to New York? Let me know your predictions in the comments. And subscribe for full finals coverage.